Good afternoon. Well, we start with Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, the man at the centre of so many things at the moment. The Correctional Services Department saying it's standing by its decision to keep him at the country's only super maximum security prison at eBongweni in Kokstad in KwaZulu-Natal. The businessman and his 4 co-accused, including his wife Tsakane, appeared in the Johannesburg High Court today. They face 25 charges, including attempted murder. The defence wants Matlala transferred from the prison, saying his incarceration there has serious implications on his right to a fair trial. Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Makhoali is in court today, joins us now. Veronica, good afternoon to you. What happened in court?
Well, Stephen, it was a busy one, which is usually expected when, of course, the alleged kingpin Vusimuzi Cat Matlala appears before the court. While he had an attempt today to try and be transferred from the Kokstad prison to a facility in Gauteng, with the Correctional Services essentially, denying that request, relying on legislation. You'd remember last week his lawyers detailed to the court the difficulties of consulting with him and preparing for this trial, as you've mentioned, where he faces 25 counts. This is including himself, his wife, Tsakane, and 3 other co-accused, 11 charges of attempted murder, as well as a string of other charges. While essentially the Correctional Services standing by their decision, essentially to keep Matlala detained in one of the prisons that houses essentially the most hardened criminals in the country. They say it was after a risk assessment that they found it warranted for Matlala to be essentially whisked away on the 21st of December in the middle of the night from where he was initially being held at the Vusimuzi prison in Pretoria to be taken all the way to KwaZulu-Natal. The state, in fact, was telling the court the reasons why the Correctional Department not only deemed it necessary, but also saying that they found it lawful, relying on Section 73 of the Criminal Procedures Act, simply which states that a accused does have the right to legal representation. They have the right to consult with that legal representation, but it must be subject to, of course, prison movement law. Simply saying that the Correctional Services can move and keep a prisoner where and when they like. Have a listen.
The Correctional Service Department indicated that they still rely on Section 6 and the independent mandate to transfer prisoners to wherever they want to. They place it also subject to Section 73 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Section 73, in short, says yes, access to legal representation is a human right, but subject to other legislation, which is in Section 6 of the. So that is what they quote there in their response. They indicate there that a risk assessment was done. I requested informally at a meeting with Correctional Services, can we have the risk assessment? They said it's confidential.
Well, Stephen, now that we know that Matlala will remain at the country's only super maximum facility, while his legal team is now taking another route in attempt to get him out. Just at the tail end of proceedings today, Vusimuzi Cat Matlala's lawyer, Annelies van der Heerwe, has in fact detailed that she will essentially be intending to apply for bail for Vusimuzi Cat Matlala. This would be a second attempt by Matlala to be released on bail. The first time, you would remember, is when he tried to, of course, get the decision of the Alexandra Magistrate Court overturned that had initially denied him bail. He approached this very court, the Johannesburg High Court, stating that while the state's case simply relies on hearsay and is not strong enough on that issue was, of course, dismissed. He's now intending to apply for bail based on new facts. It's understood that a hard drive that has now been given to the defense that, of course, contains all the disclosure. This is the evidence and the dockets and essentially the charges against Matlala. It's understood that the defense will now be combing through this and essentially bring an application forward, we understand, sometime next week to essentially try and not only get him removed from Kokstad prison, but an attempt again, once again, to have him out on bail. The successes of this will be tested next week when this application is brought forward, but the matter again has been adjourned now to the 12th of March, where we're expecting Matlala and his co-accused to return to court. Stephen.
Veronica Makhoali, thank you very much indeed for that update outside the South Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg.